you can live your life now and just pay whenever you can. But that's not true. Right after you've made the purchase, you start paying off, right? And therefore, there's the burden of the repayment, high interest charges, all of that is there. Like there's so many hidden charges when you go ahead and take a credit. As long as you're paying in full amount, it's fine. But the moment you default, the interest rates are as high as 45% in some cases, right? So basically, it's not cool to just own products. The way you own products is what defines whether you're cool or not. So I'm heading marketing at Multipl. Multipl is world's first investing platform. So we are the category builders of the SNBL space, save now, buy later space, right? So in the entire world, India, so this product is India first. It's been built in India. It's been conceptualized in India. Nowhere in the world this whole concept of investing for a spend exists, and we are the ones who have built it completely here. And now we're seeing that a lot of other startups in the global space are also trying to replicate the SNBL model or parts of it, right? So there are a couple of brands in the space across the globe, but then the concept of spend vesting and spend vesting for your lifestyle is something which Multipl, proudly stands for, and we've built it from here. So I have been leading marketing for Multipl for about 3 years now. From the inception of the brand, I have been associated with them. And and so my background is, I have about 9.5, 10 years of work experience now. I completed my graduation in 2012 from Shastra University, Bachelor's of Engineering. And post that, after a couple of years of working, then I opted for my MBA. So I went to Indian School of Business, Hyderabad, and I completed my MBA from there. And after that, I joined Multipl. So I have a background in technology, in business management, sales management, revenue planning, and now I'm leading marketing here. Yeah, that's pretty much my background, and a little bit about Multipl also.
So I wanted to know from your end, first of all, that if you talk about Multipl, how exactly that journey started, and what was actually the thought process at that time when the brand was initiated, and what problem statements, I would say, kind of caused this startup to start. So
Right,
some light on it.
right. So basically, Multipl is the brainchild of three of our co-founders, Mr. Paddy Raghavan, Mr. Jax Raghavan, and Vikas Jain. Right? So Paddy and Jax come with plethora of entrepreneurial experience. They have been associated with multiple brands before we conceptualized Multipl, and the last startup was acquired by Cisco. It was in the EW space, technology space, and post that, they were looking for a new venture, right? And that's when they happened to sort of, when they were researching the market, they happened to meet Vikas. And Vikas comes with, he's the finance in our fintech. So he comes with a lot of experience, about 15 odd years of experience in Goldman Sachs. He was leading their Asia Pacific for investment research. And after that, he himself had, turned entrepreneurial, and he had started his own venture, which he was an RIA, so he was managing a lot of HNI portfolios. So then they were looking into, okay, finance is something which they wanted, with help of technology, and what should the product be then, right? So that was the starting point of how they sort of thought, okay, let's do something together. Now, when we were looking into the market, so there were two distinct things that we noticed. So one was that our spend share of our wallet is way higher than the saving share, right? So we all spend towards the lifestyle that we desire, right? Each one have a particular kind of lifestyle that they want. And also spending is fun. So people enjoy spending, whereas saving is boring, saving is intimidating, right? So this is one thing which is common across all stratas of society, even though people are, spending and saving both, but it's sort of disconnected. So that was the first sort of problem that was seen. And then second, when we started thinking about, okay, how people are spending today and how are they saving, because these were the two pillars of, I would say, how you manage your lifestyle in a financially prudent way. So so when when we were deep diving into spending, is when we realized that people come from so there are two ways particularly in which people spend today. So one is you don't have a lot of savings, you don't have money in your bank account, so you opt for credit. And even though people have a lot of money in their bank accounts, they still opt for credit, which is BNPL, EMI options, even for lifestyle spends like travel, right? And we know of people taking personal loans to satisfy their travel cravings that they have. So we came across an example where there's somebody who's from a very well off background, who's earning well, but that person wanted to go to Iceland and they took a pretty big loan, because Iceland trip is like 3 lakh kind of per person. They had a big personal loan to sort of overcome this, and took for the travel. And when they came back after that, they knew that they'll be paying EMI, but the pinch of paying the EMI after you travel is actually it's too much, because then your whole experience of that Iceland travel is now reduced to the EMIs that you're paying every month. And it's not that the person didn't have the money to pay it off, but just that the joy was sucked out of the entire experience of travel, because that's the memory that is there after that. And the second thing when we were seeing is how people are saving, right? So one, a lot of people don't save towards the spend. They're actually just keeping money in a pooled way in probably their bank accounts. And India has about like 50% of their savings kept in bank accounts. And we all know that bank returns, the interest that we are generating in our bank accounts is like what, the maximum 3% kind of returns, right? Which is post inflation, your money is actually going down. So you're just pulling your money and you're thinking, okay, my money is there, I'll take it out whenever I want to take it out. But you're actually reducing the value of your money, right? And like the penetration of investments in India is very, very, very low. The biggest reason being that people are not aware how to invest. There's a lot of noise around investing, because you go on Twitter, you open and you get like people who are so-called investment gurus, and you see so much of things are going on. People are just asking people to trade, do this, do that, but if you're taking investing in that way, it's not really in line with your lifestyle, because you want to spend, but then you've been asked to keep your money pooled in, let's say, investments where there is no reliability of the return. Most of us salaried people don't even have the bandwidth to sit and do the research when it comes to investments, right? So these are some of the problems that we realize, that there are gaps in the way in which people are saving and spending. So that's so multiple.
So I believe what Multipl has done probably is kind of collated an idea of where someone wants to invest, someone wants to travel, or someone wants to spend, and someone wants to plan. So kind of mixed all these three things,
Yes.
then created something out of it.
Absolutely. So you plan for your spends, you start investing through Multipl. Multipl will help you with a portfolio for each of your goal, which is personalized to you, to your risk profile. So we are SEBI registered investment advisors. So we generate portfolios, we generate the mutual funds portfolio in the interest of the users for their particular goal, right? And once you have, you've saved for, let's say, 6 months, you've generated returns on it from the market, then you go ahead and spend that money, right? And now you're generating one more value for your money through better returns. Secondly, what we have done is we've also partnered with a lot of lifestyle brands. So be it in travel category, be it your jewelry, your vehicle, furnitures, education, all of these categories we have now partnered with over 80 brands, top brands of India, and now they are also sort of giving you an additional benefit, like we call it brand contribution, towards your own savings. So if you decide to go ahead and spend with one of our partners, you'll be getting some exclusive savings, which come to you in the form of brand contributions every month. So now you're actually generating returns, plus you're generating these additional savings, and you're going ahead and spending. And the best part is that when you're spending, you don't have the burden of taking an EMI. You're already prepared, your purchase ready. Also, what it does is it leads to a lot of mindful purchase, because you've got enough time to decide whether you want to go ahead and do that purchase or not, right? So there is no impulsive buying which is involved into this. So a little bit of patience clubbed with the expertise of investments that we have, plus the brand savings, is leading to approximately 20% more returns for each of your goals. So for each of the deposits that you're making for let's say your travel, or you want to buy a furniture or a new iPhone which is launched. So for all of it, you can actually gain up to 20% more returns, which is like 4 to 5x more than if you had kept your money in the bank accounts. So that's what
And
Multipl is doing.
I got what exactly Multipl is doing right now. Now talking about one small, not one, but multiple cases which I have seen, where I have seen like, see, this is just a thought process which I have. Uh, I have seen people or the students or the ones who have just recently started working, what they do lately is, even if they have a salary, let's say 15, 20K, they buy a product which is probably 1 lakh, 1.5 lakh of an iPhone. They will buy, probably buy some bike or something, and eventually 70-80% of their salary goes as an EMI on the like the whole bucket which they have. So I wanted to know, considering Multipl, the way these guys, you guys are branding. So what exactly you're trying to portray, and how exactly you're trying to target these people? Because from my perspective, we also, from working like past 7-8 years, I have realized that financial, I would say, education which needs to be required is somewhere missing from our education system, where you don't get that kind of information, that kind of actual real life, I would say, experience, or real life training in terms of finances, that this is how you need to manage. They will teach you how to earn money, but they don't teach you how to manage it or how to spend it, because of which this is happening probably. So what is your thought on it? What do you think about the recent trend which has been followed, and how you guys are targeting those people and kind of addressing these issues?
Right. So I have got two thought process when it comes to this particular problem, specifically for the generation that you're talking about the early jobbers, right? Or people who are students and they're still also earning it on the sides, right? So one, I feel that see the financial education or the penetration, at least in tier one, I've seen it's been happening a lot through I would say Instagram or financial influencers, and people in general are more interested today in learning about money and how to manage their money. At the same time, the section of people we are talking about, they are very interested in trends. They're very interested in being up to date with respect to what they own. So because owning stuff is what is their status symbol, right? And that's why they're going ahead, and despite knowing that it might not be good for them, they're very confident. Okay, I'll be able to manage. I'll be able to pay off and all of that, right? And that's why they're going ahead and taking this sort of EMI that you're mentioning. That's one side of the problem. The other side is that there is an availability of easy options, right? So, BNPL, buy now, pay later, is so readily available for people, even if you don't have a credit history. It's very risky in terms of, like we've known of, we know cases, right? We've been hearing this, that people have not been able to pay off their loans that they've taken. And it has led to several consequences, right? I mean, every day news is coming about this, and government is also trying to regulate BNPL now. Uh, all of this is happening because it's an easy option, right? Like the way it is presented is basically that hey, you can live your life now and just pay whenever you can, but that's not true. Right after you've made the purchase, you start paying off, right? And therefore, there's the burden of the repayment, high interest charges, all of that is there. Like there's so many hidden charges when you go ahead and take a credit. As long as you're paying in full amount, it's fine. But the moment you default, the interest rates are as high as 45% in some cases. So definitely, I mean, the problem exists. And I do feel that a lot of youngsters know about the problem, but they still opt for it because of the lack of a better option, right? Like it's like, acha, lena to hai mujhe. I mean, that much they're clear that they're going to buy it no matter what. So lena hai to ye option easily available hai, because there's also lack of patience, right? Everybody wants instant gratification. Everybody wants things done now like this, and definitely, I think when we were thinking about Multipl, we actually thought that instant gratification is going to be our biggest challenge to overcome, because uh, there are a lot of people who just want things now, and it's going to be a challenge. So there are two things that, see, one, what we are trying to educate people are that despite of your instant urges that you get for shopping, there are so many things that you can plan in advance. So for example, if you take a case of an early job, but if you know that the iPhone 15, you want an iPhone 15, you've been thinking about it. But it's gonna launch and it just launched 3 days back, right? So it's going to launch in September only. You can't have an iPhone 15 in March, right?
True.
But why not start preparing for that in advance? Because you know you're going to buy it, you're going to buy it on EMI. So
Mhm.
therefore, what we have done is incentivize them, right? So one, the incentive is in terms of the returns, which if they
So
were taking on EMI,
sorry to cut you, but are there any campaigns actually going on like where you are targeting these people, knowing कि ये product launch होने वाला है, तो उसके हिसाब से 4-6 महीने पहले से टारगेट कर दिया ऑडियंस को?
yeah, we do that. So we had done one very interesting campaign in January, around January, February. It was called EMI wala tag, right? So basically, it's not cool to just own products. The way you own products is what defines whether you're cool or not. So अगर तुमने सामान ले लिया है और तुम EMI पे कर रहे हो तो you're not cool. So that is something which we had done it was a 3 months campaign that we had done and it did very well. We also did like a box pop and all and people were like, we saw some very good responses. We saw some people very interested and it sort of became like a talk. The other thing, which of course we have a performance marketing going on. So for that, for the iPhone thing specifically, we had about 3-4 months back, we were doing the campaign. So and even that we saw a good pick. I think so. The idea is to generate that thought at least at the beginning. Um, so so one of the things that we are doing as a company is incentivize people to plan, right? So because we can bang our heads and talk about financial education, but at the same time, if there's not incentive enough, people might not be doing it, right? So therefore, the returns plus the brand part of it, and there's also rewards. So usually on credit cards, you get rewards for shopping. Sure, you're getting rewarded for saving. So every time you make a saving towards your goal, you're actually getting some rewards from the platform, right? So that's how we've tried to you know, gamify the entire process and make it really interesting for people to save. That's one part of the game. The second is we're also doing a lot of corporate sort of sessions and all, where we are working on, one hand of our company is working on financial education as well. So we're doing a lot of corporate sessions and all to, sort of educate people around how the basics of personal finance, how should they be thinking about investing, about spending and all of that. So I hope that also pays off. Yeah.
So, understanding from your thought process and from knowing myself as well, and based on basic research, we know that in India, very few percent of people, like hardly 1 or 2%, are actually investing in mutual funds or probably any other investment. Majority of them, as you said, they have FDs or probably they save in bank accounts, something like that. So, considering that particular as your audience size, कि ये लोग हैं जो करने वाले, probably.
Not not really.
So, how wide that audience is, that is what I want to know actually.
हाँ, so वो जो ऑडियंस है ना जो इन्वेस्ट कर रहा है ऑलरेडी, दैट इज एक्चुअली नॉट आवर ऑडियंस. द रीजन बीइंग कि दे आर अवेयर, राइट, एंड दे नो दैट इन्वेस्ट कर सकते हैं. सो व्हाट वी प्रोवाइड टू देम इज जस्ट अ way of investing wherein we'll give you the right investments. So that is actually I would say, the lowest hanging fruit. And I mean, those people are mature enough anyway. So उनकी लाइफ में वो प्रॉब्लम मोस्टली एग्जिस्ट ही नहीं कर रहा है.
True.
Our audience is the remaining, I would say, the 90, it's not 3%, it's now the penetration is around, I think, 7-8%, but the remaining, like let's say 95% of India is our TG. So primarily right now we are focusing on anybody who has an income of over 5 lakhs annually, right? Salaried and working professionals. So that's our TG1, as we like to call it. And anybody, right, from 23 years old to 40, 45 years, and we're seeing models across all these segments. So in India, people with more than I think 5 lakhs of income, I think that itself is a huge base. I mean, we are a very populous country, so that itself is a very huge base. It's several, I think, hundreds of crores, right? So that's the TAM, I would say. And from there, now we have, of course, segmented in terms of, who do we want to reach out first, then who will we reach out later. So that way, we are focusing on urban and tier one kind of audiences right now in the, I would say, top 11 cities in the country.
So currently, just wanted to think, like thinking out loud probably, uh, considering brand like Multipl right now, uh, knowing that the audience segment, that you have a vast audience segment, anyone who earns probably more than 5 lakhs annual is your audience, right? So apart from performance marketing, what are the different channels which you have tried? Okay, and one thing which I was thinking of, considering that education also and my experience in edtech, I thought of probably we can have an app or something like that where we can help students as well to manage their pocket money. If that can also be done, those will be our, I would say, the seeds which we sow as a brand, जो आगे जाके eventually हमारे main platform पे आएंगे and will spend more. That also can be done. Again, it's a thought process. I don't know if you guys have tried it or not, but just thinking out loud. So,
We haven't tried out with another app or anything, right? So we have been focusing a lot on, I would say, uh, being a very early stage startup right now. We focused on two, three primary things. One has been performance as one of the pillars of marketing. The second has been influencer because the reach is huge, and also the educational part, which you're saying, sort of happens in parallel. And the last one is the corporate, right? So these three things we have been focusing on largely. Apart from that, what you're mentioning, that's like building another product. So that's something which we are not looking to do at this stage, considering that our TG, as I mentioned, is right now the urban tier one, right? So they are pretty much, and also people with probably a little higher income. That's the first target audience that we are aiming for. So yeah, so maybe when we reach to the students, so as our target audience is when we'll start looking at more options like product building. uh Interestingly, the students part, so for in India, the doing any mutual fund investments, right, there are a lot of compliances. We are also SEBI registered. We abide by SEBI and RBI guidelines, NPCI guidelines. So a lot of regulations are in place, which we are 100% compliant with. So, considering all of that, actually, a student segment is not very appropriate for us because they usually don't even have KYC, and that's like a basic mandate for even starting a mutual fund. Even though we don't have DMAT and all, for Multipl, you just need to be have a PAN, have an Aadhaar, and be KYC ready. That's it. That's the only requirement. So yeah, I mean, that's been one of the things why we are not focusing as much on the student community.
got it, got it. Now, talking about the multiple channels or multiple methods which you were talking about, influencer marketing, you directly reach out to corporate, performance marketing as well. So, being from an influencer marketing background itself, I wanted to know how much impact have influencer marketing like put on actually building the brand Multipl what it is today, and how exactly are you looking forward onto it? What exactly is planned to that?
Sure. But I have a question for you because you said you are from that background. So, how do you benchmark influencer marketing? Probably one thing which I would want to learn. What do you think is the benchmark today when it comes to different channels like Insta or YouTube? Facebook is pretty much dead, or Twitter, LinkedIn for that matter. If you have any insights, I would love to know.
See, if you talk about if you talk about influencers and benchmarking them, basically there is no proper, I would say, a way to find the attribution. That has been the question mark for everyone. So, what can be done probably, and what we do itself is we have something called as you might have known that there are 30 elements of value. There was a study done by Harvard where they give 30 elements of value, which any brand, let's say Multipl की भी अगर हम बात करें, so a brand like Multipl, out of those 30 elements of value, there will be certain elements which you as a brand would target or which you would try to provide to the society. Right, planning is one of those things. Organization, you help people organize, saves money. So these are different elements of value which they have. So what we do is, rather than randomly selecting any influencer for you, we understand your brand and we map your brand around those elements of value. कि मल्टीपल अगर है तो मल्टीपल के साथ कौन से ऐसे एलिमेंट्स ऑफ वैल्यू है जो एज अ ब्रांड यू आर प्रोवाइड यूज केस दूं तो for a product like Apple, quality would be a very important element of value. For a brand like, let's say, MI or any other brand, let's say, जहाँ पे value for money ज़्यादा है, तो qualities के comparison में they would prefer a value for money. So for them, that would be the element. So we understand these elements of value which vary as per the brand, and we try to map these elements of value as per the influencer as well.
Okay.
Now we have like a list of influencers, right? 3,000, 4,000 influencers जो भी हैं हमारे पास, we filter out first of all its influencers which are right, considering the genre and everything. After that, we try to find कि इसमें कौन सा element of value this particular influencer is portraying out of his videos and the content which he creates. There might be an influencer who talks more about quality of products, right? He won't showcase any product below 500 or 1,000. He will talk about the quality and something very niche, probably, right? There might be someone who will talk about value for money products. He सारे products 500 के नीचे के दिखाता है वो, because his audience is something like that. So we try to understand these different things and map those particular influencers as well as per the elements of value, and then select the right influencer for your brand. And talking about the benchmarking and the attribution wala part, so what we can do is we do have a brand uplift study, which basically takes place. It's a I would say not a product, but a feature of DV360. DV360 पता ही होगा. Basically Google का product है, display and basically it helps in performance marketing, right? Google Ads की तरह ही होता है. Display and video 360 करके. So in that you have a feature where you can study and understand the brand uplift. So that is the only thing which can be done. But again, influencer marketing is something which I believe takes time, and it will happen with 3-4 months of period, and then you start seeing the conversion and everything. So it's also about आप क्या methods use कर रहे हो. As such कोई attribution method तो है नहीं India में.
Right. No, I think that's one big gap. I mean, as a marketers community and probably people, influencer agencies, I think that's one big thing which, I mean, the future of influencer marketing will depend on that, is what I believe. The reason being that, even TV does not give you at least a direct beyond impressions kind of sort of attribution. But I mean, the influencer has much more potential is what I see. So I think that somebody should be working on that one problem statement, how to solve for it, because I'm very sure there are a lot of brands, and especially now, the young India, which is a lot of startups. We don't really have a lot of, I would say, spare change, because for bigger corporation, probably influencer marketing looks like spare change. But I'm just saying that because now the requirement in India is more tilted towards startups. So this is something which I think somebody should pick up. But yeah, overall, influencer marketing has been, as I mentioned, one of the important pillars of our marketing for now. I would say for now, because we don't know how it might change tomorrow. But it's been giving us good results, and we are seeing a lot of conversations at least happening. And I think that is one big benefit of influencer marketing, right? Because you see conversations happening right there on the video itself or something, where you know what the people's sentiments are. So it also helps with social listening in a way.
So sentiment analysis is one of the things which actually we also do, where we understand what the sentiment is based on different posts and different comments which like a brand gets on videos and probably whatever has been shared on LinkedIn or any other platform. So based on that, we do understand the sentiment कि पहले क्या number था आज क्या number. Based on that, we are able to generate an uplift. But again, it's more like an immunity, right? Yeah, medicine ले रहे हो for immunity, and then you don't know exactly कि immunity बढ़ी है या नहीं बढ़ी है, but हाँ, just consider कि हाँ शायद बढ़ी हो. So it's something like that. But हाँ, answering the question at coming on the same point again, there are certain ways which are being followed probably जो link के through होता है. But again, the problem with the users is कि they will see the video and they won't click on the link which you have shared and directly do it organically.
Because influencers are working on another platform, right? So they're on YouTube, they're on Instagram, Twitter. So then it's probably tomorrow, maybe LinkedIn, Twitter, they'll pick up this as you're saying, and anyway they have all our data, so they might as well just start doing this, because it has to come from a brand where the influencers are sitting. But yeah, very interesting thought, Rahul. So overall, I think influencer marketing has been doing well for us also, and primarily because the selection of influencers that we do. So we do it ourselves, we do it in house, and we've been very careful with respect to who we are associated with. Right, because we are also a category builder, as I was mentioning the beginning, right? So there is no reference point, so we didn't want a bad reference point to be set, because we sort of took that responsibility on ourselves. That when we are talking about SNVL, when we are talking about spend vesting, it has to be done in a certain manner. So that's something. It's not even the brand language per se. It's more like who we are associated with, because we do believe that just like celebrities, right, influencers are celebrities in their own right, and who they're representing, like they become a brand ambassador even if they're doing one video. So we are sort of very careful with respect to who's speaking about our brand. So that's one thing which we follow as a policy internally.
True. One more thing which I've noticed, Nimisha, with majority of the brands, even after being at a very good stage in terms of generating good amount of revenue annually, I've noticed that they do lack this, I would say, reporting and if you talk about data collection, they are not able to use the data the way some of the brands are able to use it. So I wanted to know at what level is Multipl currently using the data, considering that you are a planning based on organization, right? Ki the product itself is planning. So how good or at what level is data, or what level the data plays an important role in terms of marketing, in terms of other things as well. So how
So
good you?
right. When it comes to marketing, we do have our, analytics set place. There are a couple of tools that we are using, softwares which allow us to sort of attribute, channel wise. That's something which we are doing. Apart from that, once the user has signed up, we are also able to view their journey in a, I would say, aggregated view to understand different cohorts, to understand, how different cohorts are behaving inside the app, and based on those uh, checkpoints that we have, built internally, we are able to take decisions. So I would say it is pretty much data driven. It's not fully mind analytics division that we have. Like, it's not like, let's say, a Swiggy, which I think can just become an analytics company in itself. It's not at that level. But when it comes to marketing, I'm saying, when it comes to the users, right? So again, we are having a lot of confidential data of the user, right? So there are very strict guidelines in terms of who is going to have access to what kind of data for the user, right? So and of course there are a lot of uh, I would say policies and regulations in place in with respect to the data of the user. But at a cohort level, when it comes to, just for taking decisions in terms of marketing and all, so there are tools which are allowing us to draw those insights, right? And from there, then we take a call with respect to, let's say, if you're talking about influencers, then which kind of influences work for us? What kind of messaging did we had with this particular influencer was sort of about? So we have been able to sort of now, come at a stage where we know what is working for our brand, and that's purely because we have been studying a lot of the data and the impacts of it. I think one of the things that early on, as a head of marketing, which I think that any person who's sort of leading the marketing in a early stage startup, where this, like, you start from scratch, you start from ground zero, is to sort of strike a balance between that experimentation and the impact, because you don't know. And then you sort of start building from there, and you form your own modelings, which your team can use, and then sort of work on that. So that's something which is, of course, going on, and we are heavily reliant on data in that sense to take marketing decisions. But I would say it's not still Swiggy level. But yeah.
Now, almost we are about to end. There is one small part which I want to ask personally to you. How has what has been your experience with Multipl, and what is your personal thought process as an not as an employee, I would say, but considering a product and being in part of the organization? What is your sentiment towards it? Because that also is very much important, right? You should be like
Absolutely. Absolutely. See, so I think I'm one of the super users of the app. So I have like 8 goals currently active, few more which got completed. So I've been associated. So I was probably the eighth employee at Multipl, apart from the founders and few of the core team members who have been associated with the company for over a decade. Like not with the company, but with the founders. So they were also part of their older entrepreneurial journey, right? And so my journey with Multipl has been that it's a company which gives a lot of importance to innovation and experiments, right? So in the last 3 years, we have actually like our day to day is basically how do we innovate, like how do we ensure that our users are actually getting more value, right? So that's it's interesting to be a part of an organization where the conversation is more around it, right? So that's one. Second thing has been I got the opportunity here to build a team, right? So which from so of course I've had managed teams before, but that team was not something which I had built. So here, there's a lot of as an employee, I'm saying so there's a lot of free hand at that. We have a pretty much flat structure, even though of course there are designations and all. But then, anybody can walk up to anybody and talk about anything. So that's been the culture of the company, which is again something great on a daily basis. Going to office is generally like actually you go. It doesn't feel like a lot of tension or work. So that's been the overall as an employee, I'm saying. As a user, see, before I got to know about Multipl, or before we rather build the product, I had my own investments. I used to keep a lot of money in RDs and FDs and all that. And I had also started just doing some research on investment. That was like early COVID times, right? So a lot of free time. Suddenly, remote work and all that. So I was doing my own research, and what I realized is that शुरू-शुरू में तो बहुत मज़ा आया. But now if you ask me, what has been the performance of those investments that you made, I don't know. Like I'm not sitting and monitoring how are those, let's say funds कहाँ invest कर रहे हैं, वो क्या manage कर रहे हैं. I don't have the bandwidth to be very honest. Right. So with Multipl, that became very easy for me because being an somebody from the team, I know कि investment research कैसे हो रहा है. I know that what is the philosophy of the team, of the investment team, right? So we are of course not involved. So the investment experts are sitting there who are day in, day out, their job is only to, provide you with the best funds, do the monitoring, do the rebalancing and all of that. So now I know कि मेरे investments are taken care of. All I need is अच्छा मुझे अभी ये खरीदना है या फिर मुझे एक ये long term goal बनाना है, मैं वो start कर देती हूँ आप पर. So that way, it has been smooth as a user for me because वो ट्रस्ट मुझे है उस टीम पर बहुत बहुत ज्यादा ट्रस्ट है सो आई डोंट इवन लाइक आफ्टर आई थिंक the product was built after that I've not made any investments elsewhere like it's all through Multipl and a lot of them are towards a lifestyle so like I'm planning a trip to where I'm going so वो उसके लिए already एक flight का goal बना हुआ है एक package holiday package बना हुआ है so it's like that yeah like I'm one of the super users of the app.
And I think marketing has played a very important role into the way the brand is right now. And I think big credit goes to you as well because you have been taking care of marketing for the brand. And that's the reason all the videos which I've seen and everything what I've seen, it gives a very positive sentiment ki haan, it is something which you should go for. In fact, I myself am going to download it right after this meeting.
Awesome.
So
You using the app and do give us the feedback after you've used the app. It would be nice. We're very helpful to the feedbacks also. Huh?
सबसे पहले मैं ट्रिप प्लान करने आ रहा let's plan.
Like that's been our problem.
I think the best thing what majority of the users are doing कैसा मतलब Question क्या है
So bifurcation तो देखो different age groups में different चीजें हो रही है but travel has been the most popular category, right? Like we see even if people don't create a travel goal, they definitely check it out. Like everybody wants to travel and post COVID, I mean, I think more like
And
like all the travel कीड़ा जो अंदर बैठा हुआ था सबका निकल रहा है, which is great. Like we all, in fact, another thing as a company, I think how we've been able to bring like-minded people together. So all of us are like chai, coffee, I feel that's one of us are like travel कीड़ा है सबके अंदर. So planning a trip here is very like very sleek. So you just say yeah, मेरा एक trip planned and everybody is like great, have fun because everybody loves to travel. So internally also that's like been a lot of focus. So we've got like a lot of travel brands like Make My Trip, Pick Your Train, Ease My Trip, Clear Trip, Yatra, Luxury Escapes. ये सारे brands onboarded है already because like travel is something which like it's awesome.
Everyone actually wants to get into that, but why keep there is nothing to plan for it, right? You can, it's very difficult to plan for it, and because सबको पता है वो बस plan होता है, जा नहीं पाते. So this is something which can happen. I think इसके अलावा tagline या कुछ होना चाहिए. There should be a campaign specific.
Absolutely. So that's been like a plan for us कि यार travel के around whenever we do a dedicated campaign, it's going to be that only which you said. यार plan तो 5 ने बनाया और जहाँ से peak even there is. So there is one campaign which we had done in November 2021. That was our first video ad that we had done. So the campaign was called Plan Karna Padega, and one of the videos was around this. So they're like 3 friends, and one is always cribbing, usko dekho, wahan chali gayi, usko dekho, wahan chali gayi. And then, third frame we see ki she is gone somewhere and these 2 friends are like, अरे ये कहाँ चली गई? तो तुम बैठे रहो, वो तो गई अपना trip plan करके. So yeah, it was fun. And that is the most relatable campaign. It did very well because people love to travel. Yeah.
I think it was an amazing experience talking to you, Nimisha, and I think you yourself has done a great job in terms of marketing of the brand and the way मतलब everything is. मतलब I'm actually really impressed the way the brand has been built, and मतलब वो अंदर से नहीं आता कि हाँ करना चाहिए रोहित. That why
Yeah.
actually
Really glad to hear that.
yeah.